Hi everyone, it's Jay here, and these are the manga and manhwa releases for the second half of September. Starting with the Kodansha releases, Blue Lock Volume 22. Isagi has discovered a new golden formula. The question is, can he translate that into his own goal and finally get revenge on Kaiser? On the other side of the pitch, Nagi approaches Rio with an unexpected proposition. In Love's Key Reprised, forced by poor health to take a leave of absence, curmudgeonly conductor Kiri returns to his rural hometown for some much-needed rest. But on his very first night back, he comes dangerously close to freezing to death until local grocer, Osamu, scoops him up out of the cold and into the warmth of his embrace. Can this younger man, a years-long fan of Kiri's work, thaw out the ice in the maestro's heart, or will Kiri be doomed to live a life of frigid loneliness forever? KX Yaku Bound by Law Volume 8. Ichiro and Shiro embark on their mission to infiltrate Satoshi Yamada's vacation home, where he's taken the hostages. Despite some close calls, the pair manages to make their way inside, only to realise they've fallen right into Yamada's trap. Ninja vs Gokudo Volume 9. Shinoha will stop at nothing in order to protect Kiwami, his one and only friend. This forces him into a head-to-head battle against Gamute, the deranged assassin and anointed prince of the Glass Children. With nothing left to lose, Gamute finally tells the world about Shinoha and Kiwami's forbidden friendship. The future of the ninja and the Yakuza is about to take a radical turn. Volume 6 of The Ghost in the Shell, The Human Algorithm. Hesitant to hurt others, but longing to protect his family, the gentle Ajili has been conned into undergoing a ceremony where he thinks he's been chosen from among all others to don a terrifying prosthetic and fearlessly light the fire of revolution. In fact, he's been poisoned with a cyber drug derived from the venom of the Black Mamba, one that renders him nearly fearless and his cyber brain susceptible to the installation of whatever new software his puppeteers desire. Tower Dungeon Volume 2. Eriko, Liliken, and Yuva are left to rescue the princess on their own after their commanding officer, who just so happens to be the king's sister, is whisked back to the capital to sit on the throne in his absence. The three face innumerable dangers as they begin to tease out the secrets of the Dragon Tower, haughty knights, mighty sorcerers, a killer with the power of the Dracomorph. Monsters come in many forms. Whisper Me a Love Song Volume 9. Aki finally has closure on why her friendship with Shiho came crumbling down, but that doesn't mean she feels good about it. With Shiho's forlorn feelings now out in the open, will the two girls finally be able to move on from their past and share a new future together? Akira Hardcover Collection Volume 2. For those who don't know this absolute classic, here's what is going on. Neo Tokyo has risen from the ashes of a Tokyo obliterated by a monstrous psychokinetic power known only as Akira, a being who yet lives secretly imprisoned in frozen stasis. Those who stand guard know that Akira's awakening is a terrifying inevitability. Tetsuo, an angry young man with immense and rapidly growing psychic abilities, may be their only hope to control Akira when he wakes. But Tetsuo is becoming increasingly unstable and harbours a growing obsession to confront Akira face to face. A clandestine group including his former best friend sets out to destroy Tetsuo before he can release Akira, or before Tetsuo himself becomes so powerful that no force on earth can stop him. Last Samurai Standing Volume 2. In the year 1878, the 11th year of the Meiji era in Japan, a secret battle royale is brewing amongst the mightiest warriors in the country for a chance to win 100,000 yen, 2,000 times a police officer's annual salary. In dire need of money to save his wife and child from cholera, Shujiro Saga enters combat, but as blood pours at Tenryuji Temple, Shujiro becomes the reluctant protector of a young former samurai's daughter, who is on a similar noble mission to save her ill mother. How will they manage to pass through the 7 checkpoints along the Tokaido Highway without meeting their gruesome demise? A new series called Shita's Little Big World. Sheeta and Nala live happily inside a hollowed-out log with their fellow little folk who stand no taller than a blade of grass, when Nala runs off one day to investigate a mysterious smoke signal. Sheeta must summon all his courage and wits as he sets off in pursuit. Rats, ants, weasels, giants. The wide world is full of dangers, but the plucky Sheeta will stop at nothing to find his friend. Volume 27 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The Tempest Founders Festival is finally over, but now the bills are due. With all the human merchants refusing to accept the monster's currency, it looks like trouble for the monster kingdom until a handsome nobleman offers them a loan. Or is this seeming generosity just a trap set by the secret leaders of the human nations, the mysterious 5 elders? A Condition Called Love Volume 15. Hotaru misses their date in order to help Yaokun's little siblings get to the hospital. Wanting to make up for the date she blew off, Hotaru herself resolves to take things between her and Hananoikun to the next level on the night of their 1-year anniversary. Eden Zero Volume 33. In this final battle to save Mother and everyone in the universe, Shiki and his friends make an epic last stand. Ziggy, the Eden's One's crew and all their friends hold Void and the Eden's One at bay, while Shiki does the unthinkable. Gay Tima the Gigantis Volume 3. Yutaka, a kind-hearted and brave young boy, is bullied at school and belittled by his dad at home. Determined to fight back, he challenges his classmates to a fight which doesn't quite go his way. Yutaka is the underdog, but he gets a surprise ally, a kaiju. This new sighting triggers more evacuations and military action. Everything Miyako and the Fune team believe about Gaitama and kaiju behaviour is about to be turned upside down. Honeko Akabane's Bodyguards Volume 5. All the students in Class 3-4 of Sosoji High School are Honeko Akabane's bodyguards. 2 major assassin organizations joined forces to plan an attack. As all forces collide in the final battle, who will win? Snow and Ink Volume 4. In order to eventually move on with her new life, Freya has returned home to the place where it all went wrong. Except this time she has Neneo by her side. Surrounded on all sides by people with ulterior motives, they can only trust in each other. Though they've braced themselves for the worst, it's hard for either of them to turn a blind eye to each other's suffering amongst so much blatant hostility. Yet their ruse demands they must. However, sometimes even the smallest of doubts can cause huge rifts when under so much pressure. With old and new enemies around every corner, can Freya and Neneo weather the storm? The Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride Volume 4. After the confrontation with Akemi and Reito, Nano is finally able to put her traumatic past behind her and cut off ties with the Byakurenji clan. But Nano is now having to face the heads of the Benitsubaki family, including Yako's mother, Tokiko, and his older brother Takeya, who both seem to have a distaste for Yako and Nano. On top of this, the Ayakashi are becoming more active and an ominous atmosphere is engulfing the capital. And what's this about Yako's former fiancé? The Spellbook Library Volume 3. Under the tutelage of Ruslan, the former captain of the Spellbook Library's specialised sealing unit, Toru and Yan begin honing their skills in sealing spell beasts, with the ultimate goal of rescuing Shiro's full form from the confines of the Spellbook Library's shelves. But how are 2 library newbies supposed to compete against the library's entire sealing unit? Tsugumi Project Volume 7. Leon faces a difficult choice. Will he complete his mission and deliver Tsugumi to the French army, or must he abandon any hope of seeing his beloved Marie again? As new and familiar foes converge on Tokyo, mankind's fate rests in the hands of a group of human and inhuman friends. A Return as Magic Should Be Special Volume 5. The next enemy is something that can't be beaten with sword and sorcery, a harsh winter that's sure to cause mass starvation. To save the populace from being decimated, Desir must convince the Earl to follow his risky plan, but will his words be enough to rekindle the fire in the old ruler's heart? Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian Volume 2. Alia has a habit of revealing her feelings for Masachika when she teases him in Russian, thinking he can't understand her. As it turns out, those feelings began all the way back in middle school. She didn't always think so fondly of him though. At first, Alia only saw him as a slacker, just like so many of her peers. But when her classmates left her high and dry during school festival prep, the one who reached out to thaw her frozen heart was the last guy she would have expected. Banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside, Volume 11. Ares and Theodora have landed in Zoltan, ready to bring the hero back to fulfill their destinies. Meanwhile, Red, Rit, and Tisei head to the ancient elven ruins to confront Godwin and find a way to save Ruti from her blessing. As the former members of the hero's party cross paths once again, will it be duty or freedom that wins in the end? Or is there something more sinister at play? Bocce the Rock Side Story, Kikuri Hiroi's Heavy Drinking Diary Volume 2. Kikuri Hiroi has two passions in life, booze and music. One day she's drinking in Kabukicho, the next she's drinking while gambling on powerboat races, and the day after she's drinking at a high school festival? What happened to the music part? Also from Yen Press, Bungo Stray Dogs, Dazai Chuya Age 15, Volume 4. Dazai and Chuya face Randu in a climactic showdown in this final volume of the series, which is a prequel to Bungo Stray Dogs. Daughter of the Emperor Volume 12. I love you, my daughter. Those were the last words Keitel said to Ria before he pushed her out of the way of a crumbling building, sacrificing himself in the process. Now he lies unconscious, teetering on the edge of life and death. Heartbroken and riddled with guilt, Ria learns there is only one way to save him. She must enter his subconscious and bring him out. It's a dangerous and seemingly impossible task. Days with My Stepsister Volume 4. Yuta and Saki have decided to hide their feelings for each other, choosing instead to live as brother and sister. But suppressing their emotions isn't easy, and even as Yuta tries to turn his attention to other women, it only makes him realize how special Saki is to him, and Saki isn't faring much better. Finding Camellia Volume 5. Unbeknownst to Camellia, Claude has discovered that the supposed man, Camellius, is actually a woman. Unfortunately, before he can truly claim her, he must go to war as the new Grand Duke of the North. The battlefield is treacherous and unpredictable, with danger looming at every corner. But for Claude Delhirar, death is not an option if he wants to finally be with his beloved Camellia. Hell is Dark with No Flowers Volume 3. A letter threatening a dismemberment is delivered to Seiji and Shiroshi, challenging them to visit a remote island in the southern seas. The pair sets out to investigate, and what awaits them is a towering Italian Baroque mansion housing a strange doll maker and his surreally beautiful living doll. To Seiji's surprise, they're joined by Detective Odoro and a mysterious boy claiming to be Shiroshi's younger brother. Honey Lemon Soda Volume 10. When Uka learns that Nano might be putting on an act to get closer to Kai, everything she thought she knew comes crashing down. Faced with the fear of losing both of them, Uka resolves to talk to Nano and find out who she truly is. Can she salvage their friendship and keep her boyfriend to herself at the same time? I Don't Know How to Love. Fact: college upperclassman Aimi is the hottest guy on campus, and word is that for those who dare to date him, he has just one rule. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, without having to answer for it, which is all fine and good in theory, but in practice his partners can't leave fast enough when reality sinks in. At least, that's how it always went, until his underclassman Kade came along. Even kissing his side piece doesn't seem to faze his supposed boyfriend, which makes Aimee wonder if Katie even likes him. And what is this strange feeling that keeps bubbling up when he watches Kade chatting with some cute girls? I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Mad Dog, Volume 4. Reinhardt's work at the capital is far from over. After all, she may be the High Lady of Luden, but the power and prestige mean nothing compared to revenge on the man who took everything from her. Little does she know that Wilhelm has started a few schemes of his own, including one targeting the crown princess. Luden's thunder would do anything for Reinhardt's sake, even if it dredges up certain memories he'd rather forget. If the Villainess and Villain Fell in Love Volume 4, Yuri never mentioned having a younger brother, but a wondering Bridget seems to have found him all the same. The boy certainly has Yuri's sharp tongue, and while his words cut deep, they offer Bridget something she never thought possible, a way to speak with her contracted spirit. Bridget wants nothing more than to finally communicate with hers, but the path there lies beyond the fire she's cowered from since that fateful day years ago. Does Bridget have the strength to conquer her fear and walk through the flames to finally hear the voice of her very own spirit? Imitation Volume 7. Maha and Ryok's scandal was successfully covered up, but only at a heavy cost to Ryok's career. This is the last straw for Jae-woo, who has always been wary of Maha and her similarities to a certain former group member. Convinced that Maha's relationship with Ryok will end up in a repeat of his group's painful history, he decides to finally tell her the full story. Just what happened with Yoonjo Lee that the mere mention of his name still puts Shax on edge? And what is Jae-woo hoping to accomplish by telling Maha about him? Lycoris Recoil Official Comic Anthology Repeat Volume 1. From fresh hairstyles to flashy uniforms, there's always something new brewing at Cafe Lyco Reco in this official comic anthology. Marriage of Convenience Volume 1. Countess Bianca de Arno was infamous throughout the land as a haughty, extravagant woman who spurned her spouse, neglected her duties, and spent her estate's money with wild abandon. In her first life, that is. After meeting a miserable and lonely end following the tragic death of her heroic husband, Bianca wakes up back in the castle as her 19-year-old self. It's not exactly the second chance she'd prayed for, but she'll do anything to avoid the cold and hunger that plagued her before. In fact, she's even willing to make amends with the indifferent man she calls her husband. But with an entire lifetime of misunderstandings between them, it'll take more than a few clumsy advances to win him over. Men of the Harem Volume 4. Latil desperately needs help from the Great Sage. Unfortunately, assassins are just as keen to get their hands on him, and Latil has no idea where to start looking so she can beat them to the chase. That is, until she comes across one of the conspirators and somehow overhears his thoughts. In light of this sudden power, one thing is certain: Latil's quest for answers has only led to more questions. What is happening to her, and does it have anything to do with the surprisingly young and handsome Great Sage? Mie Ruko-chan Volume 11. Girls just wanna have fun, which is why Miko and friends are heading to a festival over winter break. Only having an axe-swinging ghost on the loose in an enclosed train car really puts a damper on the festivities. Meanwhile, Rom Shindo seeks assistance from a dapper, elderly gentleman to solve the case of the old guy in the picture. However, his friendly face hides a sinister side, and he seems rather interested in Miko Yotsuya. Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord Volume 5. A tabloid snags a picture of Miyako hanging out with her old idol group Elm. With rumours spreading about a possible comeback, Miyako makes the bold decision to return to the spotlight and have a proper graduation. But with a year-long tour ahead, can her relationship with Asako survive? The curtain opens on the finale of their heartwarming love story. My Beloved Supper. Yoru is a vampire, a predator of the night dwelling among humans. But instead of consuming fresh blood straight from the source, he'd much rather partake in the culinary delights of the human world. Fragrant stews, tasty meat buns, and sweet pastries are the most irresistible delicacies after all. That's why it's a shame he's a vampire. He can only stomach real food if he drinks blood first as an appetizer. Thus, Yoru whiles away his nights, sinking his fangs into criminals and other evildoers, all for the sake of the beloved supper awaiting him. My Oh My Atami-kun Volume 3. February, the month when love is in the air, sending small ripples through the lives of Atami-kun's gang. For the first time ever, Kunijima-kun grapples with the foreign concept of romance. Atami-kun tries to track down a secret admirer, and Suji-kun keeps drifting along at his own pace. My Secretly Hot Husband Volume 4. Although a threat has been removed, the issue of Letitia's divorce with Erden resurfaces, and it's made far worse by the greedy nobles who flock to Halstead to demand her hand in remarriage. Letitia would rather be out fighting devils than dealing with this nonsense, so she decides to do just that. Her plan is to infiltrate a secretive village and learn more about the sinister cult controlling it, if she can stop getting distracted by the unmasked Erden accompanying her. Nights with a Cat, Volume 6. The nights are never dull with a cat like Kuryuga around, between licking Futa's face while he's trying to sleep, plopping down right on top of whatever he's reading, and using his freshly laid out clothes as a blanket. The little fuzzball can be quite a handful. But that's what makes him so endearing. The real question is, can Futa and his sister keep up with Kuryuga's feline antics? No Longer Heroine Volume 10. The once blissful Hattori remains totally alone, until Hiromitsu visits her to ask for a second chance. Will he be the prince to give her the happily ever after she's been dreaming of? Or will Hattori's heart lead her somewhere else? This is the final volume of the series. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Volume 8. The omniscient reader could not have foreseen the depths of depravity human society can sink to when there is no force imposing order. And within the dark, lawless streets of what was once Seoul, Dokjar encounters a person who knew from another lifetime, a trauma-inducing figure from beyond the fourth wall, who shakes him to the core like no giant monster or shadowy demon ever could. Radio Storm Volume 2. In this world of death and decay, Sak has found his single ray of hope, his caller Lima. As they venture through the corpse-ridden island of Ralta, Lima wants to make things explicitly clear. Any acts they do together are for Lima's pleasure only. However, as they spend the night in an abandoned cabin, the two share a bath, and soon a kiss, but they can't dwell on their complicated feelings for too long in this wasteland. When Hannah, the first core user, brings them back to the academy, the lines between right and wrong, trust and manipulation, all start to blur. A new series called Rock is a Lady's Modesty. When her mother marries into high society, Lilisa Suzunomiya is forced to leave her commoner ways behind. Now enrolled at an elite all-girls academy, she's expected to smile politely, sip tea, and hang up her beloved guitar for a violin. But when she hears drums echoing from the old-school building, Lilisa is dragged into a jam session with the secretly rebellious young lady Otoha Kurogane, and her passion for music is reignited. High society better watch out. The Academy's most demure maidens are teaming up to form an elegant rock band the likes of which the world has never seen. Spy Classroom's second period, Daughter Dearest Volume 2. While Claus and his team are out on the hunt for the assassin called Corpse, Greet, codenamed Daughter Dearest, is on the move to identify and neutralize Corpse's accomplice. But when the accomplice catches wind of Greet's intentions, a full-blown battle breaks out between the fledgling spy and the assassin's apprentice, all for the sake of love. Stomp, Kick, Love Volume 3. Easy breezy beautiful Akira. That's how Kaho's always seen him anyway. A pretty face to look at, but not someone you'd ever date or have a serious relationship with. Except, now that he's avoiding her and putting up walls, she's starting to realise she really misses him. After all, he's the one person she can really be herself around, the one person who won't judge her, the one person who doesn't expect anything from her. Still, he's clearly got commitment issues piled a mile high. So what's a girl got to do when a guy can't get his head on straight? Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess Volume 13. Writing a self-indulgent fantasy romance fic featuring her ideal best self during her teenage years was, well, let's just say it certainly came back to bite one Konoha Sato. After all, she's now ended up as the villainess of her own story. as Iana Magnolia herself, and although she started off trying to protect the happiness of the characters she adores, Sato's been backed into a corner. She now faces the very real threat of world annihilation at the hands of the true Demon King, and the more immediate threat of the Knights of Schwartz, taking it upon themselves to murder everyone stepping out of line for the sake of correcting the plot. Playing the part of the villainess, while guiding the heroine as she hides her true identity from the main love interest when he's out for blood, is no easy feat. Is survival even possible? The Eminence in Shadow Volume 13. Sid and Beta have arrived at one of the last places the aspiring shadow broker wanted to go, his former homeworld, Earth. Or what's left of it at least. Why is everything in ruins anyway? It doesn't really matter, because Sid has a bigger problem. If Beta works out that his vaunted shadow wisdom is all normal stuff any Earthling would know, he'll look seriously uncool. He's got to find a way back to his rad isekai fantasy life while she's still in the dark. But little does he realise that his boring old planet's got some brand new thrills. The Reformation of the World as overseen by a realist Demon King Volume 7. With Eve, Toshizo and Jean by his side, brand new Demon King Astaroth has already bested 3 other Demon Kings on his way to mastering and reforming the world. His next target is Zagan, a monstrous Demon King with a powerful hero on his side, the son of Genghis Khan. The Teen Exorcist Volume 3. It's not easy being a teen exorcist. From tracking down Queen Kui to preparing for the Kikoden festival, Masahiro has way too much on his plate. Not even sleep brings peace, for his dreams are plagued by frightful memories from his childhood. Still, when Princess Akiko comes asking for help because a demon has been lurking outside her room every night, there's no way he can refuse her. But upon discovering the same demon is connected to his nightmares, Masahiro must now muster up his courage to confront his fears and save the princess. To Sir Without Love, I'm Divorcing You Volume 2. A brazen femme fatale, a wicked temptress fond of toying with men. These are the first things Arnold hears about the wife he's never met, by letter. So when he receives a letter requesting divorce, Arnold responds with a wager intent on making a fool of her. After all, he's not one to take a loss, and he plans to see what this seductress is like for himself. But the more time they spend together, the more he learns by letter is far from what she seems. And why is he having such trouble leaving her side? Tomb Raider King Volume 12. With Chairman Quan still trapped in the golden sarcophagus, and his youngest son under Juhyun's control, it's prime time to rob the chairman of his relics and crash his company's stock. Meanwhile, Rope is on a quest of its own, turn into a human so it can win its master's affection. To do so, it will need the help of a relic from a legendary fairy tale. But is Rope prepared to deal with the curse that comes as the price of his transformation? Toge Oni, Primal Gods in Ancient Times Volume 7. After their respective journeys, Ozuno, Mio and Zen are reunited at last. But just as they begin to rejoice, Ozuno suddenly comes under attack by a mysterious figure, descending to the world using 2 of the 3 sacred treasures. The man denounces Ozuno for his usurpation and abuse of divine instruments. What do you call this trash? Akira is the girl of Yuto's dreams. Too bad she's dating his big brother. Or was, at least. When she gets dumped, Yuto thinks he has a chance to pick her up on the rebound, but his big bro ended the relationship for a reason. Akira is an obsessive, clingy stalker, a total trash fire of a girl who would happily manipulate Yuto's feelings for a chance to get near the man she loves again. Of course, Yuto knows that, but it won't stop him from going dumpster diving. Final Fantasy Lost Stranger Volume 12. Their quest for the Raise spell has thrust Shogo from his party into a power struggle that could alter the very fate of the Gold Saucer. In a bid to stop the rampaging Alexander, they venture into the depths of the Big Bridge to shut off its power source. Meanwhile, Madame Violet and the city councillors attempt to take control of the Gold Saucer, and the checkered history between the mayor and Don Leon begins to come to light. Kindergarten Wars Volume 2. When all seems lost, Rita rises from the rubble to protect her co-workers and ensure she gets a shot at courting Hannah's handsome older brother. Can she save the day and escape with her life for the sake of the children and all the hotties she has yet to meet? From Titan Comics, Saint Seiya Dark Wing, Volume 1. Shoichiro was just another high school student. Now he's a Wyvern, one of the dreaded judges of the underworld, chosen to battle against the forces of Athena in a war that transcends life and death. When an unexpected ambush during a school trip sends Shoichiro and his classmates into the land of the dead, they are thrust into a fierce struggle between the gods and their warriors. The mysterious forces of Hades have already begun their assault, and Shoichiro's destiny is forever altered. But he's not alone. Catalya, the reincarnation of Athena herself, fights to defend the living, as shocking truths about a darker conspiracy threaten everything they know. Atom the Beginning, Volume 12. This is the origin of the iconic Astro Boy, as Laboratory No. 1, now under Heido's control, showcases its latest marvel. The robot Mu emerges as a formidable contender during a robot wrestling tournament. Meanwhile, the team from Lab No. 7 shifts their focus from the recent competition to refining their own robot creation, setting the stage for future advancements. This series contains high-octane robot battles and complex ethical dilemmas about robotics. A new series called Gran Familia. The delicate balance between humans and demi-humans teeters on the edge of collapse. In a world where superpowered beings like vampires, werewolves, and other demi-humans are forced to hide from human persecution, the legendary Gran Familia vampire clan controls the criminal underworld with an iron fist. But their reign is far from unchallenged. Leo, the young heir to the Gran Familia, dreams of a future where both humans and demi-humans can coexist peacefully. However, when a violent turf war erupts between rival factions, the fragile peace between the two worlds is shattered, and Leo is thrust into a dangerous conflict that could have devastating consequences for everyone involved. From Ablaze, Gannibal Volume 5. Dago's gathered allies within and outside of the police force, and the authorities are now leading the investigation, while Dago is ordered to evacuate the premises, yet again facing the decision to stay or go. He cannot hold back the burning anger within him. Will the official arm of justice finally intercede in Kuge Village, or will it become a matter of vigilantism? From Inklaw, Wet Sand Volume 2. Ian and Joe are spending more time together, and TJ has taken notice. But TJ's got bigger problems than his lover's newest fling. The second in command of the powerful K-35 gang is dying, and TJ is the favourite to succeed him. Determined to entice Ian back as his right hand, TJ decides to play nice with Joe, but he can't guarantee that his underlings will do the same. Meanwhile, Ian plans his escape from the city and the gang, even as he struggles to cut ties with TJ and to resist his intensifying attraction to Joe. Volume 2 includes episodes 14 to 26. Under the Oak Tree Volume 2. Rifdan has returned from the royal capital just in time to deal with a group of rogue knights attacking the gates of Anatole. When the dust settles, he and Maxie finally have time to get to know each other properly, but Maxie struggles to show Rifdan who she really is, afraid that he will reject her. Even worse are her fears that the next time Rifdan is called away, he might never return. Determined to prove her worth and secure an unshakable place in her new home, Maxie agrees to help the sorcerer Ruth create a new magical device, and discovers she might be capable of more than she could have ever dreamed. This volume collects episodes 25 to 45. From Dark Horse Comics, Gantz G Omnibus, the complete collection of the spin-off tale set in the epic Gantz universe, containing volumes 1 to 3. Another deadly game is about to begin. When a school bus plunges off a bridge, a group of students awake to find themselves in an empty room with a mysterious black sphere. Their deaths have made them the newest recruits in a hunting game. Given weapons, uniforms, a mission, and an ultimatum, the team is set to battle waves of aliens where they must earn enough points to be resurrected before dying permanently. From Viz Media, Dracula Midnight Children Volume 5. Mina's world begins to unravel as her connection to Jonathan Harker reveals the secret of his journey to Castle Dracula, as well as the unthinkable fate that befell him. Will she be able to stand strong as the Camellia Club seeks to save the soul of her beloved midnight friend through the mercy of a true death? After God Volume 6, Waka finally makes a break for it after being kidnapped by the god Volov, but just as her friend is within reach, Allura stops her dead in her tracks. Meanwhile, Volov begs his former best friend Obikawa for help. Though after struggling with his addiction for so long, he may already be beyond saving. Disney Twisted Wonderland, the manga, Book of Hearts Labial, complete box set. This box set includes all 4 volumes of the manga series, featuring the dormitory inspired by Alice in Wonderland, plus a bonus mini-poster. Dogs Red Volume 3. It's time to rebuild the team. Coach Nihei kicks things off with the fledgling team members. After a full day of exhausting dryland training in the woods, the rookies must show what they can do on the ice. With the weight of years of tradition on their backs, can they prove to Coach Nihei and the upperclassmen that they have what it takes to fight their way back to the championship throne? Fool Knight Volume 5. Does the world really need the inhumane system of transfloration that spawned Ivy? Those who harbour doubts have begun attacking Transflora Medical, where Toshiro now works. Meanwhile, his friend and co-worker Horai is laying her latest trap for the anti-transfloration movement. A fierce battle for the future of transfloration has begun. Who will emerge victorious? Haikyuu 3-in-1 Edition Volume 6. It's Karasuno vs Aoba Josei for the Spring Tournament Qualifier semi-finals, and Aoba Josei has the momentum in the final 2 sets. With their backs against the wall, Karasuno digs deep and throws their greatest efforts into their rally. Will they be able to take the rally and overcome the Great King? Heartgear Volume 6. Roe, Chrome and Rock have been taken in by Heavenland's retrieval team, the Donkeys. They seem friendly enough, but Chrome isn't quite ready to let his guard down yet. The group decides to take the shortest route to Heavenland, only to be attacked by a massive underwater creature. The Donkeys entrust Chrome with a weapon of massive firepower, but will it be enough to take down the creature and save them all? Mobile Suit Gundam for Thunderbolt Volume 24. The devastating power of the solar ray has been unleashed, but those who witnessed its first blast and survived still have a mission to complete. Meanwhile, E.O. Fleming rallies the Hot Rod fleet in an attempt to destroy the solar ray from the inside. But to do that, he'll have to confront Daryl Lorenz head-to-head. Daryl himself has a choice to make: fulfill the shoujo's vision or destroy the woman he once loved. Trillion Game Volume 7. Haru and Gaku team up with the news department of Kawara TV to launch Trillion TV. Haru claims that news is the real money tree and goes all in on streaming news. But what is he really after? Undead Unluck Volume 21. Rip and Latler join the fight against the 10th Master Rule, Sick. Fighting Sick while performing Layla's life-saving surgery has put Fuko and the others in a difficult situation. However, as Fuko faces imminent peril, a certain man finally shows himself. Fist of the North Star Volume 18. Kenshiro faces the fanatic Emperor Balan in the final volume of this series. How Do We Relationship Volume 13. Despite her best efforts to keep things going, Seiko finally realised that she and Yuria needed to break up, and while they're both sad to say goodbye, the end of their relationship doesn't hit as hard as Seiko thought it would. In fact, she's kind of looking forward to discovering what living for herself feels like, and just in time for job search season to begin. Trying to land a job and a life purpose at the same time is a little stressful, but luckily Seiko and Miwa's friendship has started to flourish again, right when they both need it most. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run Volume 3. Gyro and Johnny are heading up the front of the pack in the Steel Ball Run race, but just as they're about to reach the finish line, they're attacked yet again. And to make matters worse, when Gyro and Johnny finally uncover the reason behind those constant attacks, they start to realise that the true purpose of the Steel Ball Run is much more sinister than either of them could ever have imagined. The art of Rumiko Takahashi colours 1978 to 2024. For over 45 years, Rumiko Takahashi has thrilled readers with her versatile storytelling in such works as Urusei Yatsura, Maison Ikoku, Ranma Half, Inuyasha, Rinne, and Mao. This deluxe art book features commentary, anecdotes, and a long-form interview with Takahashi in which she provides readers with insight into her process. Also included are a ribbon bookmark, an exclusive drawing of Lum from Urusei Yatsura, showing each phase from sketch to final art, and special sections in which Takahashi picks her favourite panels from her series. Home Sweet Home Volume 3. With Hiragi's graduation just around the corner, what will become of their relationship? Find out in the final volume of this series. Reincarnated as a Sword Volume 15. Fran and Teacher decide to compete in the Cook King contest with curry bread. But behind the scenes of Bulbola, just as the contest is reaching its fever pitch, an evil berserker, a lancer, and an old fiend-mancer hatch a fiendish plot revolving around the mysterious evil one. Sir Vamp Volume 22. The struggle intensifies between Kuro and Tsubaki, with the Count's reincarnation on the line. Having further increased his power, Tsubaki pushes Kuro into a desperate spot. Meanwhile, Lily, who has confined Misono, reveals his true objectives and finally opens up about Misono's mother. Versus Love Volume 2. Ibuki and Suzumi are the leaders of two rival school gangs, and despite their constant fights over territory, seeing each other was love at first sight. Ibuki is keeping his meetings with Suzumi a secret from their friends, but everything from secret intentions, combative friendships, and twisted affections are leading their romance to a violent end. This is the final volume. I Get the Feeling That Nobukuni-san Likes Me Volume 7. With the end of summer vacation fast approaching, will these two awkward teens finally confess their feelings and start dating for real? Find out in this final volume. Last Game Volume 10. While Kujo struggles to capture Yanagi's heart, entirely unaware that she's had it in her grasp for years now, Yanagi begins to think about his future with the family business. Now that his father's arrived from abroad, it's the first opportunity he's had to think about anything other than his feelings for his lifelong rival. It's time for him to make a decision that'll change everything. A Suitable Fetish Volume 4. It would surprise anyone to discover that stylish and sophisticated Takeda Ayo is a complete novice in the love department, but her inexperience and love of childish things has indeed been uncovered by none other than her strict and serious boss. It turns out he's got a secret softer side of his own, one that Ayo finds herself drawn to. Sword of the Demon Hunter Kijin Gentosho Volume 7. A new brand of sake called Snow's Memory is taking Edo by storm. It's the perfect drink on a cold winter's night. It also seems to be tied up in Jinya's newest demon hunting case. Turmoil ferments at every turn, especially after Jinya finds traces of the missing sister he lost 16 years ago. My Kitten is a Picky Eater Volume 5. After finding his latest rescued stray the perfect new home, Taiyo and his beloved kitty Yuki are finally able to relax, as the two settle in to enjoy their first Christmas and New Year's together. Taiyo learns he has to schedule an upcoming business trip that requires an overnight stay. His friend and fellow cat enthusiast Utako suggests he find a pet sitter, but who could he possibly trust with this vital task? Rebel Hero, I Will Use My Skills to Control the Scheming Princess's Heart and Body Volume 1. The captivating Princess Alicia has summoned Shinohara Shinta to another world. Sounds like a dream come true, right? Think again. Beneath her enchanting facade, this princess is as cunning as they come, treating heroes like disposable pawns. But Shinta's newly awakened hero skills reveal her sinister plans. Now with his life hanging by a thread, he must outwit the scheming princess and take control of his destiny with a seductive twist. The handsome cat boy wants to be his pet. Jiro Haruta has an unfortunate penchant for attracting trouble, so when he stumbles upon an odd-looking cat on his way to class, he does his best to avoid it. However, the cat not only steals Haruta's lunch, but it follows him home. And if that's not strange enough, the cat transforms into an extremely handsome man named Kanawa, who declares in front of everyone that he wants to be kept by Haruta. Can Haruta escape this catastrophe, Or is he stuck being the proud owner of a handsome catboy? Roses and Champagne Volume 1. Korean-Russian lawyer Lee Won-jeong rushes to work one day when he literally collides with a striking, blonde-haired, grey-eyed stranger. Lee Won thinks nothing of the chance encounter until their paths cross again under far more ominous circumstances. The stranger is revealed to be Caesar Sergeyev, the heir to the powerful Sergeyev mafia empire, but even that is just the tip of the iceberg. As a dedicated civil rights attorney, Lee Won suspects the mafia is pressuring a senator to cheat his client, and he's determined to uncover the truth. But as Lee Won delves deeper, Caesar's obsession with him grows more intense. Now Lee Won is about to learn just how perilous it is to attract the attention of the Russian mob. Killer Shark in Another World Volume 5. There's only one way to take down an undead king. All you need is an undead killer shark infected with the S virus. Shiromi and her unintended familiar, Shark Killer, are working together to do their very first good deed by saving the kingdom from its corrupt ruler. But can she do so without accidentally murdering all of its citizens? I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl, Volume 9. Hyura is excited to star in his class's tableau for the school festival, but his costume is ruined right before the big event. What It Means to Be You, Volume 2. Former Princess Violet and her workaholic husband Winter have mysteriously swapped bodies 2 times, but only Violet knows the secret to the switch. In order to trigger the effects, she must attempt to take her own life. Once desperate to do so, she now finds that she and Winter have grown closer, and her future is no longer as bleak as it once was. That said, there are a few sticking points and further mysteries to unravel, such as the location of many of Violet's marital assets, which have been signed away to another man, or Winter's insistence that he won't father children. Still, when Winter asks Violet to switch bodies with him to secure a business deal, Violet is hesitant. After all, what if the switch doesn't work a 3rd time? Painter of the Night Volume 1. A dark romance about a painter who refuses to paint, and a nobleman who will do anything to make him. Bak Na-kyum once made a living painting gay erotica, yet this talented artist has since abandoned his brush, vowing never to create lewd art again. This doesn't stop Yoon Sung-ho, a young nobleman notorious for his insatiable lust and volatile temper, from seeking him out and demanding Na-kyum become his own private painter. Despite his reluctance, Na-kyum is pulled into Sung-ho's world, one tinged with danger and desire in equal measure. Magical buffs, the support caster is stronger than he realised, Volume 4. Half of Naklibel has fallen to the strongest boss they've ever faced. To protect his party members, Wim casts Shift, Puppenspieler, a taboo buff of great burden. It grants overwhelming speed and highly accurate prediction abilities. However, the boss has a secret move as well, forcing Wim to cast the maximum number of buffs possible on himself. Even if he wins this fight, can he hope to survive? My Girlfriend's Not Here Today Volume 5. After Fuko maliciously confesses her affair with Uni to Nanase, Uni must make a choice. Her girlfriend Nanase, who she loves but has been neglected by, or Fuko, who showers her with affection. When Nanase promises to make Uni more of a priority, Uni agrees to give them another chance at happiness, leaving Fuko alone once more. For a time, their relationship seems better than ever, but how long can the peace last when Fuko asks to see Uni again? Monster Guild The Dark Lord's No Good Comeback Volume 9. The Dark Lord of Agnin continues his quest to unite all monsters under one banner. Upon arriving in the Land of Dragons, he finds their kingdom locked in a feud with the vampires. The Vampire Queen proves willing to set differences aside, so the Dark Lord returns to the Dragon King with the hopes of forging an alliance. Thinking the Dark Lord weak, Nine Dust refuses his attempts at peace talks and instead chooses violence. The Masterful Cat is depressed again today, Volume 10. Nishina-san, the part-timer at Yukichi's regular supermarket, recently quit her band, and now she's accidentally discovered that Yukichi, the mentor whom she so idolizes, is not actually a man in a catsuit, he's a real, live cat. That changes nothing. Yukichi is still teaching Nishina-san all the ins and outs of housework, and she's still giving him guitar lessons in exchange. Looks like Operation Turn Nishina-san into a self-sufficient masterful girl is still a go. The Valiant Must Fall Volume 5. Hoping to steal back the Seishoseki, Shino and Haruyasu team up with the former Shinsengumi leader to confront Ikumatsu and his kinsman Kikuji. Their trap works and a battle breaks out between the two sides. Haruyasu faces Kikuji a second time, and though kinsmen are granted long lives, will letting go of immortal life prove to be the only path forward? Sweet Heat Before Falling in Love, The CEO and His Fated Amiga Volume 2. Uriko, an Amiga office worker, never thought she'd encounter the mysterious alpha she met during her heat ever again. But it becomes clear that fate has other plans when she discovers her masked lover is none other than the CEO of her company, President Takamura. Convinced they're destined to be together as mates, Takamura confesses his feelings for Uriko. Will Uriko find the confidence in herself to accept his love, or let destiny slip through her fingers? I abandoned my engagement because my sister is a tragic heroine, but somehow I became entangled with a righteous prince, Volume 4. While secretly investigating Jill and Duke Berklane, Leia discovers that the Duke is using Jill for her skills with poison magic. Not only that, but when Johann rushes back to warn the prince, he's captured by the enemy. With their allies dwindling, Prince Eric devises a plan to lure the Duke to a glamorous party and expose his crimes for all to see. What will happen when the Duke and the Prince, who both staunchly hold on to their beliefs, finally confront each other? A new series called Kaiju Kamui. Japan has been devastated by attacks from giant monsters. Tanks, bombs, missiles, air power, all are useless against the overwhelming threat. In a desperate gambit, ace pilot Yamato Shido is placed on board a giant biological weapon, codename Kamui. The only thing that can beat a kaiju is another kaiju. A new series called Wakaba Won't Give Up. One tomboy is determined to win the heart of her childhood best friend, but will it take more than a makeover to win him over? Wakaba is cocky, condescending, foul-mouthed, and absolutely in love with her childhood friend, Daiki. For as long as they've known each other, Wakaba's been the very image of a roughhousing tomboy, but all that's about to change. When she shows up in front of him wearing a cutesy, feminine outfit, will she get the hopeless late bloomer's heart racing? When you can't put your feelings into words, an image change might just be the right gambit. Go For It Nakamura-kun, New Edition Re-Release, Volume 1. Nakamura is a shy and painfully awkward boy who has fallen in love at first sight with his dreamy classmate, Hirose. But there's one problem: they haven't even met, and that may be for the best, at least in Nakamura's eyes. After all, he's a total klutz that could totally bungle things before they even begin. But when he finally gets a chance to speak one-on-one with Hirose, will his worries cease, or will he make a spectacular mess? This is an endearing BL comedy about the trials of high school, first loves, and some hilarious attempts to cling to happiness. Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 7. Suma Suzume, the newest dino keeper at the struggling Enoshima Dino Land, stops by the lab to see her old friend Benkei, but will he have a place to stay much longer? Back at the park, the crew from a local TV station that's hoping to capture a day in the life of a rookie dino keeper gets more than they bargained for when an unexpected visitor shows up in the Dilophosaurus paddock. And to top it all off, it's time for Suzume to learn the ropes at the park's facilities for disabled dinos. I'll Forget You Starting Today Senpai Volume 2. Hiromi has gotten together with her high school crush, but their first night together turned into a repeat of her traumatic night with him in high school. Is she that unlovable? Or maybe something else is wrong? Find out in this final volume. Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games Volume 8. Even at an upper crusty academy where playing video games at school can get you expelled, Mio and her friends bonded over a shared love of fighting games. Unfortunately, their gaming habits earned them some severe academic discipline, and now Mio's mother has laid down the law. Either Mio transfers to a new school and leaves her friends behind, or she agrees to never play another video game for the rest of her life. When Mio's friends try to intervene, things get even worse. It's a bona fide, real-life martial arts battle between mother and daughter. Can Mio stand up for what she loves, or will Mum score a super combo finish? The Kingdom of Ruins Volume 11. In the ruins of the holy city of Magnagard, the Radiant government has discovered a mysterious relic in the shape of a giant egg. Oz Gorgeous, the young director of the Radiant Intelligence Bureau, is determined to uncover the truth, both about the egg and the fall of Magnagard, his beloved homeland. He'll do whatever it takes to claim his vengeance, even if it means embracing the magic his nation so despises. The wheel of revenge continues to turn as a bloody new chapter unfolds in the war between science and magic. Hickory Man Volumes 5 to 6. People whose hearts have been contaminated by light, electric zombies, emerge and begin rampaging across Japan. Controlled by an evil otaku, the electric zombies kidnap Shion. Can a super geek defeat an alpha nerd's army in the otaku Holy Land when love is at stake? Maybe yes. Karate Survivor in Another World Volume 8. Nomad is once again forced to lay low in the woods, and while in hiding, he encounters a wounded baby dragon. It's not always kill or be killed, even in this grim other world, so Nomad nurses the beast back to health and the quest continues. Their destination is Katori Village, a place famed for their delicious fish. Nomad's mission is to dine upon the dragonfish, the mythic pinnacle of pescatarian cuisine. But there's trouble brewing in town, and Nomad better watch out if he doesn't want to get roasted. I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess Betrothed Volume 3. After his visit to Wilhelm to congratulate Liddy and Fried on their engagement, the scheming Prince Maximilian finds himself taken with Liddy. Impressed by her feisty personality, he decides to make her his by any means necessary. The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent Volume 10. Sei, a humble office worker summoned to another world, has officially been introduced as the Saint. But just as things begin to settle down, Sei and her friends are called to the Hawk Domain to investigate a possible black swamp. According to the village caretaker, the monsters springing up near the mine are abnormal. Just what makes these monsters so different? And can the power of the Saint cleanse the evil miasma still spreading? Grand Master of Demonic Cultivation Volume 11. Lan Wangji is deeply concerned about Wei Wuxian, but despite the bond they share, he's unable to deter him from using dark and dangerous powers. Before the two of them part ways, Wei Wuxian insists he's perfectly in control, a claim that is soon put to the test. On his way to attend a grand banquet, Wei Wuxian discovers his invitation is a deadly ruse. The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash Volume 7. With Sora's help, Ivy and her companions identify the traitors amongst the Vigilance Corps. As they continue to investigate the internal workings of the organisation, Ivy stands tall against the imminent malice before her, facing it head-on to protect those dear to her. Night of the Living Cat Volume 6. After the cats launch their oh-so-adorable coordinated attack, the human's base of operations has fallen. Kunagi is knocked out and comes to only to discover that his comrades have been turned into cuddly kittens. Are there any other humans left, or has the world truly gone to the cats? Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling Volume 8. Whilst travelling through the scorching Harune Desert, Elucia comes face to face with something unbelievable, a human hero who shares his name. But aside from that, they're nothing alike. Powerful, merciless, and impossibly strong, the hero easily overpowers him and snatches away Nina, leaving a chilling ultimatum: save her in 4 days, or else. With no other choice, Elucia throws himself into a brutal race against time, pushing his limits in a desperate bid to level up before the battle to take back Nina. Can he get strong enough before the deadline, or will the other Elucia crush him completely? The Dangerous Convenience Store Volume 6. How will it all end for Yujun and Gunwoo? Find out in the final volume of the series. From Tokyo Pop, I was reincarnated as the heroine on the verge of a bad ending, and I'm determined to fall in love, Volume 5. With summer just around the corner at Heartfelt Academy, it's time for Rainy's class trip. Camping, cooking, exploring the woods with friends, what could be better? Unfortunately for Rainy, this dating sim turns dungeon crawler when a trap sends her party tumbling into a mysterious labyrinth. Rainy's efforts to protect her friends lead her to a terrifying final boss, but thanks to an unexpected saviour, she might just survive. As Rainy and Julius grow closer, more questions arise surrounding Rainy's in-game past. What exactly happened between them before she arrived in this world? The Unwanted Bride Loves the Crown Prince with All Her Heart Volume 2. This full-colour fantasy romance features intriguing court politics and a unique take on the enemies to lovers genre. Princess Tenalia of Lydia and Prince Keithvald of Baldin have married, ending war between their countries, but Keith remains unaware that Tina is the girl he loved long ago and who still loves him in secret. Though he finds unexpected sanctuary in her company. After Tina warns Keith of a threat to the line of succession, he sets out to gather allies among the nobility and neighbouring kingdoms. Yet his truest ally may prove to be his kind-hearted bride. Confessions of a Shy Baker Volume 5. Toshimitsu Yamamura's favourite way of showing love for his boyfriend of many years, Gonta Tsubakisaka, is by baking incredible treats for them to enjoy together. But in his everyday life, Toshimitsu isn't really out, as the legal landscape and cultural attitudes in Japan change favourably towards same-sex couples. Toshi finds himself increasingly willing to put himself out there despite his anxiety. With the support of friends, Toshi and Gonta find themselves participating in a pride parade for the first time, and Toshi finds himself wondering what marriage to his beloved Gonta might be like. Boys Gilding the Lily Shall Die Volume 5. Nanryo High's ensemble prepares for auditions as the Eastern Kanto tournament approaches. Aikawa and Katagiri, first and second seat trumpets, fiercely compete for the prestigious first seat and the solo performance. Amid the rivalry, Aikawa realizes her feelings for Katagiri run deeper than expected. Meanwhile, oboe player Himeji struggles with the tournament coinciding with a writing competition she's dreamed of winning. With emotions running high, can Nanryo's ensemble rise to the occasion, or will the pressure tear them apart? Boyfriend, Sometimes Girlfriend Volume 1. Hodaka Akizuki, a 17-year-old high school student, has finally found a girlfriend, and Chihaya Shishizaki is truly the most beautiful girl at school too. Just the thought of spending time with her practically has him pinching his own cheeks. After all, she actually likes him back. The closer they get, the more his heart flutters. There's just one slight little problem. Chihaya has a secret, and it isn't just the secret to stealing his heart. Star and Hedgehog, outgoing college student Ikumi heads home for the summer, where he meets Harukiyo, a shy gardener with a soft spot for houseplants. Despite seeming totally resistant to Ikumi's charms, Harukiyo eventually admits his attraction to Ikumi, and Ikumi is surprised to discover he feels the same way about Harukiyo. At summer's end, the pair embark on their first long-distance relationship. Once reunited, Ikumi and Harukiyo stumble together through the early stages of their newfound romance, tripping over the stark differences in their personalities. Can a blossoming love between a shining star and a prickly hedgehog go the distance? From Square Enix, Always a Catch Volume 4. In the Kingdom of Rubini, the royal castle is set to host an evening party, where Maria is set to be officially announced as Prince Renato's fiancée. In anticipation of the event, she must make sure she's all brushed up on proper dancing and manners. But will the culprit behind the attack on Maria and the Queen be unmasked before the party? On and Off Work-Life Imbalance Volume 2. There are two sides to every working adult. One they show when they're on the job, and one they show when they're off the clock. For 27-year-old Tamotsu Roku, that means he's a well-groomed schoolteacher by day, and a punk rock fashion icon by night. When he learns that his friend Aki has been hanging out with a cute stranger named Kanade, he can't help but feel a little jealous. But Aki and Kanade are still keeping secrets from each other, ones that could change their relationship forever. Dragon Quest: The Mark of Erdrick Volume 1. Many years have passed since the legendary hero Erdrick and his companions defeated the forces of evil, but after a century of peace and prosperity, the world is once again under threat. Now Prince Arus, scion of the hero Erdrick, decides to take to the road along with his guardians and friends to counter the rise of darkness. Mechanical Buddy Universe, an android that has completed its original mission, a baby that was abandoned in a war-torn city. In this futuristic dystopia, the two meet on a rainy day. Thus, the machine and the human become mother and child. So those are most of the releases for the second half of September. There were a lot there because there are 5 Tuesdays in a September and the manga publishers seem to release their volumes on Tuesdays. Something to bear in mind is the dates here that I've shown are the dates that the publishers have, but sometimes some of the publishers have slightly different publishing dates for the UK and Europe. Sometimes the UK gets them a little bit later than the US, so that is something to bear in mind when you are shopping online and in store. I hope there's something there for you. I have made a massive list of volumes that I want to buy this month. There are so many good releases coming out. As always, feel free to use the code JAYSMANGA at SciFier.com. It gets you an extra 5% off their already discounted prices. I hope you have a fantastic manga buying month, everyone. Bye!